Red Bull won hearts in 2022, but there are some issues. After spending 8 years stuck in the exhaust fumes of Mercedes, Red Bull couldn't have wished for a better return to form. After a tumultuous start to the season, the team produced a supreme run of sustained brilliance through to the end of the year. In the final 19 races of 2022, all but 3 were won by the team, with the Charging Bull adorned on the side of its livery. The year 2021 proved monumental for both the sport and Red Bull, but any fears that the elongated battle, which lasted until the final lap of the final race, would impact the team's fortunes in 2022 were soon put to rest. And 2022 was a perfect combination of a confident and matured Max Verstappen combined with brilliance of Adrian Newy, who was given a new set of regulations and was able to lead the design of a near-perfect car. Though, for all of its perfections, the season itself was not without its incidents. The team entered 2022 off the back of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix and the clouds of controversy that emanated from the final moments of the 2021 campaign. Although Red Bull should not be blamed, large parts of both the media and the fan base used the actions of Michael Massey as a stick to beat them with, arguing without merit that Verstappen maiden championship win should come with an asterisk. The team needed to start 2022 strongly, and while the RB18 instantly looked a quick car, it also looked a step behind Ferrari. The first race in Bahrain saw Charles Leclerc take a clean sweep of pole, fastest lap, and the race win, while Red Bull suffered double DNFs for both Verstappen and Sergio Perez, as well as AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly, as the first year of Red Bull powertrains got off to a ropey start despite the continued support from Honda. These reliability issues made another appearance in Australia. Verstappen suffered a fuel leak and made it seem as if both championships were Ferrari's to lose. He was disconsolate, already abandoning talk of the title. But after the trip to Melbourne, something clicked for both him and Red Bull. Verstappen would win the next 3 races to move above Leclerc in the standings. By the time of the British Grand Prix, Verstappen had a 49-point lead over the Ferrari driver. The Scuderia may have hit back with a win at Silverstone, followed by Red Bull's home race in Austria, but it would prove to be a flash in the pan. For if there was one race that reflected Verstappen's season, it was Spa. He qualified on pole and was moved back to P14 due to exceeding engine component limits, but it proved to be of little concern. By the end of the second lap, he was 8th. By lap 6, he was P6, and by lap 8, he was in the podium places. Verstappen moved into first on lap 12, having not pitted, but by the lap 18, he was in the slipstream of leader Carlos Sainz on fresher rubber. He overtook the Spaniard with the same effort it takes to bat away a fly from your shoulder, and from then, never relinquished his control of the top spot, finishing 18 seconds ahead of the second-place Perez. It was about as dominant as a win can be. The Belgian Grand Prix proved to be not only one of the performances of the season, but one of the finest from the Dutchman's already remarkable career. The race in Spa was the first after the summer break, and with the victory, it was all but confirmed where both titles would be heading. It was an ease of which Red Bull galloped to the title that made their moments of controversy all the more memorable. Ahead of the race in Singapore, rumors surfaced that Red Bull, along with Aston Martin, had broken the cost cap for 2021. Rivals wanted blood, with some suggesting that penalty points be applied, while McLaren's Zak Brown described the breach as cheating in an open letter to the FIA. The saga exploded, with rumors flying of what punishment would be heading Red Bull's way until shortly after the Japanese Grand Prix. The FIA confirmed the team had committed a minor overspend. The difference in calculations appeared to boil down to the labeling of the tax refund, but the saga was put to rest when they were handed a fine along with the reduction of their wind tunnel time for 2022. With that issue behind them, there was time for one final moment that would have left Christian Horner with his head in his hands. With Verstappen's title sewn up, he refused to yield a place to Perez, who was battling Leclerc for P2 in the championship. Verstappen defied team orders, telling race engineer Giampiero Lambiase that he had his reasons, but it erupted into an unnecessary civil war in the Red Bull garage. Just as it had done with the cost cap, rumors emerged about just exactly what Verstappen's reasons were with Perez's crash in Monaco qualifying, which prevented the Dutchman from setting a final flying lap time, emerging as the most likely source of Verstappen's grievances. Perez would go on to lose out on P2 to Leclerc, and while Red Bull maintain it is water under the bridge in terms of the teammates' relationship, the arrival of Daniel Ricciardo as the third driver for 2023 provides further intrigue for the coming year. Even with the cloud of the cost cap hanging over them and the simmering tension that may threaten to erupt once more in the future, 2022 can be defined as nothing but an enormous success for Red Bull. They nailed the 2022 regulations, a feat that will stand them in good stead going forward, while Verstappen produced a near-perfect season to earn himself a second Drivers' Championship in as many seasons. He did so with his gold boots and the number 1 emblazoned on the nose of his car, and if 2022 is anything to go by, it'll take some stopping for that number to be on the front of any car but the Red Bull. Red Bull have both a financial and sporting penalty for breaching last year's budget cap, the FIA confirming a $7 million fine and the loss of 10% of their wind tunnel time. The FIA statement read, Red Bull Racing was found to be in breach. However, the Cost Cap Administration recognized that Red Bull Racing has acted cooperatively throughout the review process and has sought to provide additional information and evidence when requested in a timely manner. That this is the first year of the full application of the financial regulations and that there is no accusation or evidence that RBR has sought at any time to act in bad faith, dishonestly, or in a fraudulent manner, nor has it willfully concealed any information from the Cost Cap Administration. In these circumstances, the Cost Cap Administration offered the RBR an ABA to resolve this matter. That offer was accepted by RBR. Red Bull's Chief Technical Officer Adrian Newy is unsure how cost cap penalties will affect the Austrian team in 2023. The 2022 Constructors' Champions will receive a 10% reduction in wind tunnel testing time and will also have to pay a $7 million fine for allegedly breaking the 2021 cost cap. While Red Bull seemed to be the clear favorites heading into the 2023 season, they were slapped on the wrist with a reprimand for allegedly breaking the 2021 cost cap and will now face an additional 10% reduction in wind tunnel time over and above the reduced testing time for winning the Constructors' title. Championship winning designer Adrian Newy is unsure how the added penalties will impact his team's 2023 campaign, but he's still keeping his hopes high for the new year. Adrian Newy told Planet F1 at the 2022 Autosports Award, "It doesn't help, of course. It's very difficult to know exactly how much of an effect it has. We've already had a bit of a penalty by winning the Constructors, and then we've had this additional penalty from the cost cut shenanigans. So how it'll affect us? It's difficult to know, but we've just got to do the best job we can." Red Bull advisors Helmut Marko believed Mercedes will be a stronger opponent than Ferrari next season. In an interview with the German publication Bild, Marko was asked about his projections for next year. Which rival would be the biggest challenge for the Austrian team? He promptly claimed that Mercedes would be a more significant challenge, given that the team could be seen rectifying issues throughout their failing season. The Austrian and German teams were locked in an intense title battle in 2021, but the Silver Arrows failed to understand the 2022 regulations and hence were unable to challenge the Bulls in 2022. Mercedes drivers pushed the cars to rank higher throughout their lackluster season. This resulted in podium and pole finishes. According to Marko, Ferrari is strong, but Mercedes will be stronger as a whole, especially with a driver like Lewis Hamilton. He's still a top pilot. Although Ferrari also has a good driver in Leclerc, he still makes mistakes. Red Bull's battle with Mercedes and Ferrari will be exciting to watch next season. It remains to be seen if there will be any adverse effect of the team losing 10% of its development time for next season.